welcome to ET Garage. My name is Eugene Tordo, and today's video is going to be about these stainless steel brake lines. All these suckers here. All those. And this one. They're going to be going in my 90 Corvette. And, one of the reasons I'm replacing them is you can see where sections of them from previous owners were cut out and spliced in, probably due to rot or damage. And it's just on the driver's side where it runs under the frame rail. But still, they're 30 years old, and it's spent a good deal of time up here in the Northeast, as far as I know. Looks like it was used as a commuter vehicle, including in the winter. When I first got it, it had 163,000 miles, if you don't know the history of the car. I'm up to 235,000 miles. If you haven't seen it, I did a bunch of brake upgrades on it, Wildwood. And I always wanted to replace all the metal lines. It already has the stainless steel brake lines on it, or hoses on it, on the rear. And of course, with the Wildwood brake upgrade, I used their hoses with their calipers, which are braided stainless steel. But the rest of the lines are steel lines, and they do rust and corrode. And that's one of the reasons I'm replacing them. Anyway, before I go on more into it, I got them via Summit, if you're curious where I got them from. And I got them from Classic Tube via Summit. Now, here's the thing you got to watch about this is when you get them from Classic Tube, it took, I think, a couple of months for me to get them because you know how everything is that due to COVID. But one thing you got to do is when you get this important notice in the package, make sure you read it. It says basically you got 5 days to inspect everything, make sure it's in good order and that everything is there. Now, the problem with that is, I got this like last fall, I think it was. I can't even remember. It's been that long. And it's winter now, and I haven't had a chance to get around to doing it. So I actually never replaced all the brake lines on a 90 Corvette, and there's a lot of them. I'll go into that here in a little bit. And so I'm guessing they're all here. I hope they're all here. That's all I can do. And hopefully they're all okay. And another thing Classic Tube does, they give these instructions on bending them straight because they do come curled up in the box. See if I can get one out here. Nope, that's not one of them. All right, there we go. Like I said, it's like unraveling spaghetti. Probably fixing all those doors I'm making too. Here we go. Shipped bent, it says on them. And you're it just gives instructions how to gradually straighten them out by putting it on a table and rolling them out. It's not difficult to do, even with the stainless steel ones. Like I said, they're all pre-bent. They do have the fittings on them on a 90 Corvette, by the way. They don't use a I guess what you call a double flare on the end. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see that. That's actually a bubble flare. And so you can't use, if you go do your own brake lines, keep that in mind, you will need a flaring tool that does a bubble flare. I think they refer to it as a European flare. Here in the factory service manual, it's called an ISO flare. Here, I'll see if I can get a view of that up there for you. Give you an idea of what it's like. Also, one thing I found on this is it came with this one line. Let's see if I can get it out of here. And if you look at it, it don't have any fittings on it. And I wasn't sure what that was, so I called Summit. And they contacted them, and they told them that this is an ABS vent line. Even though I've never changed out the brake lines on a 90 Corvette, the metal brake lines, there's no such thing as an ABS vent line. What it is actually is I guess they go by the factory plans, and because these this line here runs along the frame rail with the brake lines, I guess they include it because it's probably, you know, they bend all these tubes according to GM's plans or whatever, and this is included in it. But this is not for the brakes. This is for your evap system, or the vent on your gas tank that goes up to the charcoal canister. This runs under the frame rail along with the brake lines. That's what this is. It took me a little bit to figure it out. And one thing, if you're having a lot of problems with that vent system, like when you undo your gas cap and it wants to blow off, it could be this line, because on mine it was actually corroded and clogged on the inside because it's made of metal, and I guess the moisture gets in there along with the gas and gunk and everything else, and it was actually clogged on the inside. And there's another line. I think it's like a 2 or 3 piece system. But this goes up to the engine bay, this goes underneath and hooks to another line that goes up over the fuel tank to where the vent is, under where your fuel cap filler cover is. And that line there on mine was also corroded. I couldn't get that out. The only way to get that out is to really remove it, remove the body work or the gas tank to get to it. And I left that in place, and I ran a plastic PVC line all the way up to the front. Now when I get out in the garage, I'll show you. I'm going to replace that section of PVC line that runs under the frame rail. I'll show you why when we get out in the garage. I'm going to break this video down probably into 2 or 3 parts. If I was a young guy, I could probably do this in a weekend with no problem. One of the most difficult parts of this, like say you have like an old car, like my first car is a 52 Chevy, the brake system was really simple, and I could definitely do that. I could have just made my own brake lines and done it in probably a day with no problem. This is different because it involves removing the ABS system. Let me see if I can show you here. I got some pictures printed out. An ABS system, if you're not familiar with a 90 Corvette, is located in a compartment in back of the driver's seat. So basically what happens is the brake fluid flows. And here I'm going to show you these. Show you that. I'll probably post this up somewhere too on the video, hopefully. And if you look, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the lines all run from the master cylinder all the way back to the ABS, and like with the front brakes, they run all the way back up again to the front again, and to the front wheels. And so that's how that works. It has to go, everything has to go back to the ABS system, and then from the ABS system back up to the front wheels and back to the rear wheels. And there's a picture or a diagram. Hopefully you guys can see that. Like I said, I'll try and post it during the video of what it shows here. And you can see here in this diagram, this is from the factory service manual for a 90 Corvette, all the lines that run underneath that frame rail, including the hose vapor or pipe vapor that I just showed you. Another thing is these lines, some of them come labeled. Like this is the rear left. If you're wondering why that shows short, because it goes into a junction block. And I think this goes to the brake hose, and this goes to another junction blocks that goes to the ABS or something like that. We'll find that all out. And they did label it, and like they have this, the right rear. Now this one, I believe, almost positive, goes up over the rear axle. And what I read on a forum is in order to replace this, you need to drop the rear end. Or, well, not rear axle, but the rear suspension. If you're familiar with the C4 Corvettes, it has the independent rear suspension. So it goes up over that, and I don't think I'm going to, unless that line, when I inspect that line, it's in really bad shape, I doubt I'm going to go ahead and do that one. I'll save it for if I ever do drop the rear end in the future, which I may or may not be doing, you never know. Also, like I said, some of these lines come labeled. And off we go. We'll roll this one out. Out of here. This spaghetti. Yeah. One thing you gotta do when you dig these out is definitely get them organized. Okay, like this one here is not labeled at all, so I'll have to figure it out where it goes, and just hope they bent it correctly. If not, I'll be doing the bending myself and hope the length is the right or correct length. If it isn't, I will have to get something here. Now this one here is listed right front. So this is going to go underneath the motor, I believe. I'll find that all out, like I said, as I go along and do this. And should be interested. Anyway, out in the garage, I got the heat going and warming up out there at temperature. All week it was warm, like for this time of year, like it got up into the 50s one day. And of course today it's the weekend and it cooled down again. That's how it's been all year. The weekends it's cooled down, and during the week it's been warm. So that's how it is. Anyway, I got the heat going out there. It should be warming up. We'll get out there to the garage and I'll go over it a little bit more, and then I think I'm going to end the video, and then I'll pick up next week where I'm at on this. So it's going to be like a giant jigsaw puzzle, that's for sure. Like I said, I hope they got everything in here I'm supposed to. Hopefully everything's bent, because there's no other way for me to, according to them, I can't return this. According to that little note in there, you have 5 days to contact them. So that's kind of a rip-off. But, gonna go out there to the garage for now, and I'm not gonna drag all these up there for now. I'll just drag them up as I need them, because it's my garage is tight for space, and anyone who's ever seen it. Anyway, we're going out there in a minute. See you out in the garage. Okay, I'm out here in the garage. I don't know if you can see or hear it, but I got my heat going on there out here in the garage, heat things up. I'm not going to go, like I said, I'm going to probably end this video real soon. I'm just going to go over a quick few things, and then I'm going to end the video and we'll pick it up next week. So let me get under the car with the camera, and then we'll go inside the car where the ABS is, and I'll show you everything that has to be done. Okay, here we are under the driver's side rear, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is a junction block right there, and then there's this little line that goes up to here. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but I can already tell I am going to have to do some additional bending to make it work. At least it looks it. Maybe I won't. Yeah, looks like I'm going to have to do a little additional bending to get it to work. I do have a bender, but I might be wrong. I won't know till I get that in place. But anyway, you can see where they're starting to corrode. These Russell brake lines have been on here for years, and you can see they're yellow and a little corrosion there. Maybe I'll go ahead and replace them too. I will be, while I'm doing this, repainting my rear brake calipers so they won't. I don't believe I can get the color to match the Wildwoods that are up front, but you know, I'm gonna use what I can get, and that's it. That's about all I can do. Now if you look, maybe I'll see if I can get a better shot of this. Right here It's one of the ABS wires, and you can see after 30 years and 235,000 miles, covering is coming off. So I'll probably put a new covering over that while I'm doing this too, and some other things. Now this line right here, where this junction block is, that is the line that goes up and over to the other side, and I won't know until I get under there where it runs. From what I can tell from feeling it, it does go over the rear bat wing and to the other side. So like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do that one. If I can get it out and get the new one in, I'll do it. If not, I ain't gonna. And it's not corroded or dinged up or anything, then it's gonna stay there. Other brake line, and I'll have to relocate the camera again. Okay, the other brake line. This one here is just marked ABS. Hopefully you guys can see that. As far as I can tell, this is the brake line that goes to that junction block, and then it goes up to the ABS system. The rear brake, the way the ABS system works, there's the master cylinder. You have two circuits. You got the front and the rear, and the front line runs back to the ABS, and then goes from the ABS back up front, but it goes two separate lines because there's two separate ABS controls for each left and right front wheel, where on the rear there's only a single circuit for the ABS circuit. So let's get inside the car and I'll show you, try and show you that. Let's put it that way. Okay, here we are in the rear compartment behind the driver's seat. There's a little tray that sits in here, and there's insulation, and hopefully you can see everything under here. Now you can see where someone was in here before and ran new lines. Ran those lines that are run under the car up front at some point in the past, and I will be removing these, so this is going to be fun getting all these out. First thing I'm going to do is remove the or drain all the brake fluid and all that stuff. But I'm almost positive I am, from what I've read and from what I'm looking at, I am going to have to remove this in order to get all these lines out. This is going to be this is going to probably be the hardest part of the whole thing, right here. Alrighty. Yeah, like I said, this is the ABS module, and then I don't know if you can see it, but like right over here, where I'm pointing, is where the ABS computer is, and of course this is the ABS harness. You'll see these for sale on eBay and stuff. You cannot get these rebuilt or new anymore. And the same with a lot of these components for the ABS system. Once they go, you got to hunt down and on eBay or wherever, and hope you find a used one. So let's go outside again real quick. All right, I'm going to end the video here. As you can see, that's the rear compartment with the ABS in it. I'm going to go ahead and start draining the brake fluid and all that good stuff, and getting the lines off. And I'll do a separate video next week on that, and hopefully everything works out real well. And I'll let everybody know how difficult it is and all that stuff. But I'm going to end the video here. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.